I was asked if I can do a eyebrow tutorial. That's what we're going to be doing today. This should be a quick video. And the eyebrow pencil that I love to use, this is from Absolute New York. This is their super slim brow pencil. The color Smoke is what I use. I start from like the bridge of my nose, and you want to do light strokes, and you just want to follow. Now when I'm in a rush, I like hurry up and draw a line. But like since I got time, I can like really follow that line. It's already kind of creating that shape that I'm looking for. Okay, so if you are a beginner, just a little tip. Sometimes I would even do this on somebody if I'm doing their makeup. I feel like I can't get their brows to be even. I would do this little method that I like to do is I would like to create a invisible line. So I would literally, like the first brow that I did, I would try to, before I start filling in the brows, I would make an invisible line. So I would do something like really light, so like this, and see if it lines up. You could do the same thing for the top and just kind of help you out where you might need to fill in some more. So right here, just to kind of balance with this, I will fill in the top part a little bit more. So that usually helps me when I'm doing somebody's brows. I will make that invisible line, as you guys can see. It don't have to be a dark line because you want to be able to wipe it away, but you kind of want to create like a unibrow and kind of create that invisible line. You can also do this on yourself like I'm doing right now. So you see how I just like the pencil kind of just flowed, like you see how the pencil like just kind of went into the brow. You see how that line is helping. So just to kind of get them even, and now I'm going to start on the top brow. And then when you get to your arch, you can always kind of bring your brow up and do that. Create your arch like that. But sometimes you don't have to do that. But as a beginner or somebody that can't get that arch, when you get right here, bring it up. Start making that line. That little piece of hair pissing me off. Sit down. You want to make sure your tail doesn't go any farther than right here, because what is you down here for? Why is we almost to our earlobe? Why are you down there? Bring that tail back up here. You want it right here. You have so many options that you can do when it comes to brows. You can use a dark eyeshadow, whether it can be a really dark brown. Some people like to use black on their brows. Some people can pull it off. You just have to know how to apply black on your brows. Have brow powder. You can outline your brows with the pencil and go in with brow powder. Like I said, eyeshadow, or just go in with the pencil. I typically just go in with the pencil. When I want to be extra glam, I would go in with the pencil and I would take a brow pomade. When I get to the front, I try to make some hair-like strokes, especially on this brow because I do have a scar right there. So just analyze your brows, play with the routine. So like I mentioned, you have a brow powder. A brow powder usually comes with different shades of browns, and then they have this color right here that you can use to highlight the brow bone. And then you have your brow pomade. You can get brow pomade from the beauty supply store, drugstore, Anastasia Beverly Hills. So for this process right here, you want to get a angled, like a slanted angle flat brush like that. And then they also sometimes come with a spoolie on the end. You see it's a little bit darker. Thing you want to make sure you have is a flat concealer brush. You want to make sure it's flat. If you don't have a flat concealer brush, I do see people use this kind of brush to carve out their brows, but I feel like you have more control with this kind of brush. And concealer, I cannot stress this enough, concealer is very important here, okay? When you're carving out your brows, you don't want anything that's too patchy as a concealer, because that really determines like how your brows are going to be carved out, because you want to use something the consistency is really good, because you want it to be as smooth as possible, because you're using this brush here and you're going like this. You want to go like one nice stroke. That concealer does not need to be watery. It does not need to be patchy. It does not need to be dry. Be the right consistency. So how you know that? You just got to play around with concealers. Elf, I know this is matte, but it still works. You can use the hydrated one, but this is the Elf 16-hour camo in the color deep. I'm gonna say deep conditioner, deep chestnut, child. I like this one. This one is from Black Radiance. This is their concealer in the True Complexion Longwear concealer. I don't know why Black Radiance don't put the names on their products, because it says how I'm going to recommend, and you don't put the names on the products, but you put it on the plastic. I don't get that, but we're going to use this concealer today. In other words, I will use my Elf, but this one I like. It's really nice and creamy. Now, when it comes to concealing your brows, there is a theory, not a theory, but there is a rule to use a lighter shade at the bottom, and then on the top you want to use your skin complexion. Yes, that is true. You want to do that so you can, everything is blended. You don't see the that halo around your brows. I do recommend to do that. Do I do that all the time? No, I don't. You know why? Because I ain't got time to be switching from product to product. So you can use your skin tone if you want to, but sis, I'm just going to use what I got right now. Okay. So when I add my concealer, I start away from the brow, and then I bring it up. That may have been too much product, but we're gonna drag it down. You want to make sure you're being careful and not going inside of the product that's on your brow. I have done that before as well. I'm being extra gentle with my touches and my taps that I'm using on my brush. With my brush, I mean. When I get to the tail, I just go ahead and slide it down. And you may need to go back and forth. You may need to do it again, okay? And then whatever leftover products you have, just drag it down, because you're most likely going to use it as primer to be prepared for your eyeshadow, which that's what we're going to be doing. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to get some sort of brush, a clean brush or beauty blenders, a sponge or something, and you want to clean up this part right here, because this can dry up and look crazy. You know what I mean? And just kind of tap that. Now I know some people do like their skin color right here, and then this will be bright. Once again, I'm just going to use what I got on the back of my hand, okay? Do what works for you. You could do 2 different color concealers. You could do a skin tone concealer in the front, and then the highlighter color by the brow bone. At the top, I'm going to use that same concealer. This is just what I do. And I'm doing the same thing as far as like tapping the brush. And then when I get to the tail, I slide that brush down like so. So you see the difference what concealer does when you're carving out your brows. Cleaner, more sharp, versus this is just filled in. Some people can get away without using concealer. I'm going to take that brush and we're going to blend that immediately. Okay. See, like, stop. It looks good, right? Oh, we gotta get rid of our invisible line. We're gonna get rid of that too. But yeah. So that's all I do for my brows. That's how I get that brow. I'm telling you, the concealer that you use really matters, because you saw how smooth it was. How I was able to just kind of glide through the process. I don't need nothing that's tugging or like kind of skippy, you know. I just need the process to be smooth. I'm going to drag that down. So like I said, we're going to use that for primer. I'm going to start blending that out. This brush that I'm using, I got from Temu. It's just like a triangle angle kind of brush. And I love it because, as you guys can see, it's kind of pressing in that product. So I'll have everything linked down below that I use. Do the top part of the brow. Everybody's brow is different, and everybody's not gonna have the same needs when it comes to brows. Some people have thick brows, some people have no brows. Some people gotta really draw on their brows for real, because some people just have to fill it in. They don't have to do that much. They just need some brow gel. Like, everybody's needs is different, so you have to find what routine works for you. Buy multiple brow products and just see what works. It's just a trial and error kind of thing. Yeah, and this brush is good for cleaning up the brows, because as you guys can see, I'm able to clean on that angle like that. You see that? I will leave it linked down below. Hopefully, because Temu sometimes be taking stuff offline, and I'm gonna go in the middle and kind of clean that up with the brush. Okay, so typically right here, I will go ahead and start my eyeshadow, which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to finish with the brows, because we're not done. So I wanted to do like a cute green fall look, very dramatic. So the palette that I'm going to be using today is from Beauty Bay. This is the Earthy palette. If you don't have this palette, what are you doing? We're going to be using this palette here today. Now, I'm trying to figure out what section of the palette I want to use. I do have green in my shirt, so I kind of want to match what's in my shirt. Start off with this green. This green is called Apple. I'm going to start off with that color. I'm using like a kind of like a packer kind of brush to pack the color down. I'm just tapping the color. I love green eyeshadow. Green eyeshadow and blue eyeshadow. Blue eyeshadow is my favorite. Blue eyeshadow, green eyeshadow. Wait, blue eyeshadow, green eyeshadow, and a nude color on the lid. And I like a gold and a bronzy shade. Those are my favorite. And I like a nicer duochrome. So I'm just going to pack this down. We're not blending yet, but I'm just going to pack it down. God, I haven't played in color like this in so long. But fall is here and I am inspired. Beauty Bay has some really, really nice palettes. Really, really nice palettes. I'm going to use a whistle. And I'm using a smaller, like, detailed brush. And I'm gonna pack whistle on top. I'm just packing it. I'm not blending yet. Just packing. It's just a bunch of back and forth. So I'm going to go back in Apple and add some more of that in the middle, just to kind of clean up that area. Now I'm going to go back and whistle again and kind of start blending just a little bit, just so it won't look so messy. So at first we packed on the color, and now we're going back with a little bit of whistle. We're going back to blend it out. So now we're going to add a little depth. I'm going to do like a darker green in the crease, and I got so many different options when it comes to the darker green. I don't know, but I don't want to go too dark, so I think I'm gradually going to do a darker green. So we're going to start off with this color right here. This is Pine, and I'm going to take that and put and like start tapping that in the crease on the outer part as well. And I'm just going to start tapping that in the crease. This palette is so heavy, it's hurting my hand. It's literally hurting my hand, like my hand feel like it's cramping. Like, geez Louise, I'm just trying to put some eyeshadow on. Oh yeah, that's a perfect green. And we're gonna go in with another one just to deepen it up. Yeah, it's just all about layering. And that's what we're doing. Some micellar water, and we're gonna clean up some of that on the lid, because I think I'm gonna cut my crease. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut my crease. Oh my god, I'm loving the different layers of green. Like that light green is peeking out. Can y'all see that? To cut my crease, I'm going to use a white concealer. This is the best concealer to cut your crease with. This is the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer in the color Fair Warm. Okay, so after I get done cutting my crease, I like to take my finger and blend out the edges, because you don't want that to be so harsh. So I just blend out the edges right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease on my other eye. This one always give me problems, so I have to fake it till I make it. Out what color I'm going to put on my lid. I think I'm going to do 2 shades. So I don't know. I'm going in with lime, and then I'll probably go in with this color up here. This is sage. So lime is just a pretty, ooh, look at that metallic lime color. So I'm gonna go in with that. So pretty. In with the second shade on the lid, and I'm gonna take this color right here called Sage. Yeah, oh yeah, it's called Sage. I'm gonna take that and put that on the outer portion of the lid. I'm also overlapping that shade on the first shade I use. You want to make sure those 2 shades are blended. I'm going to go back into that first shade that I used on my lid. I'm going to go back into lime, and I'm going to overlap that on top of that. I'm going to go back in Pine, that third matte eyeshadow that we use, and just add a little bit of that, because I lost some of that shade, just a little bit. And I'm going to take the tip of the brush and kind of blend in just a little bit to blend in that crease, just a little. I don't want to take it away too much, you know. I'm going to use is Ivy, and I'm going to use that to kind of deepen up the outer part of the lid. And one more time, I'm going to go back into Whistle and just add a little bit more of that, just to kind of blend everything together, because that shade kind of got lost in the sauce. We're going to finish up the eyes. I'm going to go back into the Beauty Bay palette, and I'm going to add like some of the same matte eyeshadows I used on my lid. I'm going to add those underneath my eyes to complete the look. Add an eyelash. I didn't want to do nothing too dramatic because I wanted my eyes to be the focus, and so I did add some black liner. So now we're going to add the colors down below. So I'm going to use Pine, and I'm going to use the angle brush And I'm just gonna tap the color. It's best that you tap it and not like swipe, because you're gonna mess up your makeup. Alright, then I'm gonna take the shade Apple that we used, the very first shade. I'm gonna take that shade with like a pencil brush, and I'm gonna go underneath and just slightly blend that out. Then I'm gonna go in with this color right here. This color is called Ray. I'm gonna use that and put that in my inner tear duct. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. So now we're going back to the eyebrows, the original focus of the video. I want your brows to be as natural as possible. If you're putting any kind of product on your brows, they need to be as natural as possible. I mean, they're going to look a little bit better, a little bit cleaner because you use some product, but for the most part, we're not going to leave them like this. And block brows is not cool, okay? We gotta stop that. Block brows, and then some people brows be real close like this. No ma'am, that's not cute. We need to delete that, okay? Delete that. And the best thing to do is use your spoolie and start fading out that product in the front. You're gonna see a huge difference. Fading out that product, brushing in the product in your brows to kind of, you know, make it look as natural as possible. As you guys can see, big difference. You see how this is kind of still dark, this one is kind of fading. You want to take your finger. Your finger is your best tool, and your finger is good because it's going to warm up that area and blend out that product. So you're going to take, I like to take my middle finger, and I like to blend it in by pressing in, like not pressing like a button, but just kind of like dabbing it, like tapping it. And you see how it's like fading away because we're trying to get that ombre look. If you need to clean it up, you can always go in with your powder, because sometimes when you kind of tap, you use your finger to tap out that product, it can kind of like, I don't want to say smear, but like, you know, it can get a little muddy right there. So you can take your brush and go like that. So you guys can see the big difference of how this is faded right here, faded, and this is not. Once again, start blending that product out. If you need to take your spoolie and wipe some of that product off like so, do that as well. And go back, go in, blend out that product. If you lose some product, you can always go back in lightly and put it back. It's that simple. It's that simple. And I'm taking my fingers and I'm just blending that out. And with my face powder, because I didn't powder my face yet. Ooh. I'm gonna go in with my face powder because I didn't powder my face yet. And it's to help blend out anything up in here. We don't want that unibrow look. Okay? We ain't trying to do that, like, girl. Okay? This is the final look, honey. There we go. Look at God. Thank God for mascara. This video was very helpful when it comes to doing your eyebrows. I hope I gave you guys a general idea of how to get like a snatch brow. If this is the kind of look that you're looking for. And then plus I gave you guys a bonus eyeshadow look as well. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.